So let's do it. Personnel Bargaining Committee, June 2021. I will call the meeting to order. Certify the open meeting law requirements have been met by proper posting. Unless we have an amended agenda, which I do not see anywhere, I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
Move to adopt.
By Nelson.
Is this where I would make my comment about the agenda? Okay.
Just a second. We have a motion from Kellen, second from Johnson.
All
Okay.
right. We are going to remove number 10 from the agenda for today because Rick Niemeyer is not here today, and he was an integral part of this discussion. Because this is his document, and he's not here. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
What do you say about that?
I would agree with that. I also have another agenda item we're going to have to remove as well.
Why don't you tell us what that is?
Okay, agenda item number 5, the TTI survey from referral staffing. Unfortunately, they were not able to make it today, so they had just requested to be put on next month's agenda.
So number 10 will show up in July.
That's okay with the committee? Kellen?
Yeah, I have no issue.
All right, then we will remove number 5 and number 10. At this point, those were the two people who had made the motions to adopt the agenda, which case with the suggested removals, all in favor of approving this slightly amended agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. The minutes from the last meeting you've had in your possession for some time. Either
I'll second.
by Johnson and Nutter. Any corrections?
I did not see any.
The,
Beth Killian, oh, she doesn't read our minutes, so. She's the grammar police.
actually, I found no.
Me either. I didn't find
Who's
anything.
taking minutes?
Nikki is.
Oh, yes. I also saw no grammar or spelling errors. All right, all in favor of approving the minutes as printed, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed, same sign. They are approved. We're going to move down to the heavy stuff here. County employment benefit policies related to COVID-19, including remote worksite policy and COVID-19 policy for discussion. We had an overview last month, sort of a prelude to this discussion, and as at the end of that, we had decided to wait to hear from recommendations related from the department heads. So what do you got?
Yes, so this was taken to the last department head meeting, and no one actually had any concerns or any corrections to make to the current remote work site policy. So it's up to this committee if they are wanting to make it a permanent policy for all county staff. Again, I can go over some history with you all. So this was approved back in November of 2019 as a pilot program for the Human Services Department, and then it was then extended to all county employees back in March of 2020 when COVID hit. So that's kind of where we're at with it right now. It's just, like I said, up to this committee if they're wanting to make it a final policy for the county.
I think the key words were found in the minutes. Continue the remote worksite policy as long as the policy is being followed and employees and department heads are turning in remote worksite agreements as they need to be renewed. Okay. I would entertain a motion to extend the remote work site policy or to make it permanent.
I would make a motion to have the remote worksite policy become permanent.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Any other discussion? I'm still not hearing John or seeing John.
I have a question, is that just for human services again, back to that, or everyone?
No, this is everyone. Okay.
With department head discretion, correct?
Yep, they need to follow the policy.
Right. You want me to go see if?
Well, let's go ahead with this vote. We have a motion and a second.
We can do
All in favor of making the remote worksite policy permanent, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Stacy is here. She was going to bring us some numbers that also relate to this. You want to set us up, Krista?
Yes, So the other policy that's needing to be reviewed is our COVID-19 policy. So within that policy, it does state that employees have the 240 additional COVID hours that they are able to use. However, those are set to expire as of June 30th of this year. So I know the committee had asked to see some numbers as far as where we're standing and where employees are at with the COVID number usage. So I know Stacy has a few numbers for us.
So, in my payroll system, 2020 ends, so I wanted to bring you those numbers. Last year, 127 employees used 9,579.85 hours of COVID time, which totaled 225,486.67. This year so far, 87 employees have used 1,388 hours for an amount of 35,174.82. So almost 11,000 hours were used. I don't see a lot.
How many hours were used so far this year, did you say?
1,388. I don't see a lot on timesheets anymore. I'm just guessing it's off for a shot or something if they haven't yet, so.
Well, there were other parameters in which they could use the COVID
Yep.
hours related to childcare or whatever. So, what's your take on that?
Sure. So I did take it to the last department head meeting as well, and I did have a handful of employees, or department heads, excuse me, that think it is necessary to discontinue at this time as they're not seeing staff obviously utilizing those COVID hours. My only thing to take into suggestion, I would like to hear from Barb as far as where the county and surrounding counties are with COVID right now to see if it is necessary to continue those hours or if Barb is thinking it's okay to discontinue.
Come on up to the table, Barb. There are dark clouds on the horizon related to the Delta variant and the possibility of another surge later this year. So would it be wise to keep this in place in the eventuality, or what are you thinking?
Right now, COVID is down. Shots are not proceeding at a rate that we would like to see them. There are still many people who do have a reaction after the shot where they're ending up sick. I don't know who's used what. I know in my department we have one person used some in terms of childcare, and we had another one who was just plain sick after a shot. And I wrote that on the on her timesheet when we were putting in for it. Unfortunately, I do not have a crystal ball that tells me what COVID's going to do. Our region is low right now. I would feel better if we had a higher percentage of people with shots. Right now, we still have the young ones, the under 12 people who are not old enough to get shots, and we don't know what the effect's going to have with them. I guess my thought is if we want to put it on hold temporarily, except for special circumstances, we might want to do that, but I don't know how we would manage that. Your other option is discontinue it for the moment and then redo it if the variants and the COVID starts to raise its head again. And I honestly don't know what the best way to go on that is. Like I said, I don't have a crystal ball, and I'll be really, really honest. If I was really good at projecting the future, I'd use it on a lottery ticket.
Barb, do you have a sense of how many employees are vaccinated? Because you can use the time to get a shot.
Yeah, I don't have access to that information.
Okay.
It's protected by HIPAA.
Right.
So it would be an issue of people, if you wanted to take a survey, you could, but people are under no obligation to respond to it.
Right.
So we have fewer people using the COVID hours, we have fewer cases in Trempealeau County. And you heard Barb's advice.
Yeah.
possibility of discontinuing it, but leaving it open to reinstitute.
Yeah, and so I don't know, I'm thinking that, department heads would be in a better place to judge. I know what was legitimate in my department, but that might be different in a different department. That maybe, I don't know if you want to do any discretion on the department heads or not, in
What
terms
was-
of whether somebody is abusing it.
What was the advice of the department heads?
Sure, so I had 3 department heads that were wanting to discontinue. Otherwise, I didn't receive a whole lot of feedback.
So, is it complicated to bring it back, should something happen? There was just something in the news about Colorado, a city in Colorado, low vaccination rates, hospitals at peak because of Delta.
No, it's not at all.
Okay.
What would happen is if you guys nulled and void it today, I would go in and zero everybody's balance out so they knew they had no time left for that. If you decided to give them more at any time. But I also thought, what if there aren't employees vaccinated? Could their department head and Krista approve it? For me to give them so many hours, or you know what I mean? Like, I had to leave today for a half hour to get my shot. If the department head and Krista approves it, could I give them COVID if they had COVID hours to use? It's just a thought I had.
Leftover. John, are you with us?
Finally.
Yeah, we've been having some technical difficulties. Thanks.
Yeah.
We're on number 6 on the agenda. We're talking about COVID hours and the possibility of letting them expire at the end of the month. And Barb's recommendation was to, well, not recommendation, but suggestion was to discontinue for now, but be flexible enough to bring them back if necessary.
And the other thing,
Flexible.
if there is somebody with a specific situation, the ability for the department head to say, hey, I'd like to see this covered under COVID hours. Let's pretend somebody decides they're going to get a shot. Jeannie, can I pick on you? Okay, let's pretend that you decide you're going to get a shot tomorrow or next week, and that you've been thinking about it for a while, and you finally decide this is going to do, and now you have a reaction, and you're down sick for a couple of days. It would be great for your department head to be able to say, Jeannie is sick because of the COVID shot, and go ahead and pay her out of the COVID money type thing.
Which is exactly what happened to me.
It does
With
it?
my second Moderna shot,
Okay.
I was down for 2 days, so.
Okay, I didn't know that. I was just, I just picked on you because
Yep.
I know you.
I'm an
you're
easy
looking at me.
target.
You're sitting there, you're looking at me, and you're fun to pick on.
But Barb, basically what you're recommending then is that we keep
Yeah,
the
I would
COVID
say
hours.
keep it, but give the department head some discretion on whether or not they think somebody is abusing it.
So that's a little different. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, I guess I would have a concern if we were to take it away completely and then leave it up to each department head to administer, because some employees currently have a 0 balance and some have the full 240 hours yet, so how is that fair for everyone across the board? I do have another option that could be viable, so if we do discontinue all COVID hours, employees do have a sick bank that they can use sick hours for. We could relax our sick leave policy to include any COVID-related instances. If school were to close again or daycare were to close again, they could use their sick hours for that. That would be just another suggestion that we could go down that route.
So does it make sense to just end it on the 30th, knowing that something could happen in the future and we'll deal with it if we have
That's
a
definitely an
situation
option.
that comes up? I mean, because we don't, like Barb said, none of us know. I mean, I don't know if Delta's gonna, and we're not even at 50% of the entire county being vaccinated, right? We're nowhere near 70%.
No, I believe that we are in the 50s, though.
Okay,
Ron,
Wouldn't
you
it
had-
make more sense just to leave it in place now in case somebody was involved in something where they would need it? And if not, they're not going to be using it anyway.
That's an option.
And that would save the whole problem of making department heads decide or have to come back and ask.
Well, department heads still have that discretion. I mean, that's what.
But leaving it in place would be, the way it's been, it seems to me would be a lot simpler.
John, do you have any ideas on this?
No, I think it's fine to just leave it as is. If they're not abusing it, some people just plain abuse it if they can, but for the most part, it's been working pretty good.
Okay.
So,
And we know it's not over yet with the variants, so I just think to leave it in place would be the far better way to go.
I would agree with that.
Okay. I'm seeing a lot of head shaking. Perhaps a motion to that effect, since we do have it expiring at the end of the month.
I will make a motion to leave it in place.
I'll second.
Motion and a second to leave the COVID hour program in place.
Can we put an end date on it, just so it's clear?
How about, well, fall could be, if something happens, it might be in the fall, right? That's usually the time. So how about December 31st, 2021?
Okay, that good, Ron?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. In which case, all in favor of leaving the COVID hours program in place until December 31st, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, we will leave that in place. Do you want to talk about the mask? Barb, stick around.
I do have,
Go ahead.
I do have one other section on the COVID policy.
Okay,
So the
go.
travel restriction section
Ah,
currently states all non-essential travel as determined by the employee's department head to training seminars and conferences is restricted. I was not sure if we wanted to open that back up again or remove that section completely.
Has that been being followed? Do we know?
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I didn't think so either. Hi there.
Hi there.
Why don't you pull up a chair?
Okay. COVID committee actually had talked about easing and lifting some of these restrictions, and I think that the travel restriction was something we recommended easing off, so.
Okay.
Okay, good. Okay.
Makes sense.
the
In
other-
which case, was there an end date for that?
No.
So perhaps we should entertain a motion to remove that section of the COVID policy.
So moved.
By Nelson, second by Johnson. John, are you still with us? That's,
He's like in Saint Germain, so maybe he's got spotty.
Well, he was here this morning, so he's not there yet. but-
Oh, yeah, so he's driving.
okay. All in favor of removing the travel restriction COVID policy, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Oh, there he is. There he is, all right. Okay, so, Barb, could you help clarify the current mask policy? I reread it, it's in our packet, and it seemed more restrictive than what apparently is going on in the courthouse.
Okay, well, I'll confess I have not read it.
Okay.
But in general, most places do not require masks. I believe they're optional here in the courthouse, including the courts. I personally, if I'm out and about, since I'm fully vaccinated, don't spread that around. That's all HIPAA information. So I generally don't wear a mask unless I'm walking into a situation where I'm a little bit nervous about it.
So Sally, what's the COVID committee? I mean, the policy basically for face coverings is, the word that keeps coming up is encouraged, but then describes a lot of situations, especially with people are meeting the public and also encouraging social distancing still. So where's the committee coming down on that?
Well, the committee, when the committee met, which was a few weeks ago, we continued, you basically said, the policy as it stands, but when we discussed adjusting this policy, it was probably over a month ago, and it's basically what's currently happening out there. If you're fully vaccinated, choose whether or not to wear a mask. It's encouraged, basically encouraged more so to create an atmosphere in which people who want to wear a mask are not being subject to some kind of ridicule or questioning or something like that. Basically, we still support people who want to wear masks. regardless of whether they've been fully immunized or not, and that would include staff as well as visitors to any county facility.
Okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
So, Krista, was this up for a revision, or?
Nope, it was just an FYI.
Okay, so you heard it, and we also have a copy of it here, and the rationale behind it. Thank you. Oh, man. Anything else related to COVID?
That's all I have.
So Stacy, keep the hours in the bank. Department heads, work with your employees on when to use and not to use, that sort of thing. Well, what we'll do then is we'll slide into the Human Resources Information System. Tim, are you here for that? Mm-hmm. Okay. Could you join us at the table, please? Yes, sir. So, I think whatever sense of hesitancy I have around this probably has to do with a price tag. Who's going to take this? Okay, here we go.
Price tag?
Price tag?
Okay. Yeah, there's going to be sticker shock with any system that is freestanding HRIS system and payroll system. They're rather expensive. So right now we're in the process of trying to determine if there's a solution that it would be reasonable and effective inside the existing products we already own. And then we're going to evaluate whether we can make additions to the product we already own or make modifications to the product we already own, and then save some time and treasure in moving forward with an HRIS system that helps human resources do their job. The last thing we'd have to evaluate is if none of those things work, then we're going to have to consider looking at a potential new partner to pair with our existing financial system or to replace it. So we're currently evaluating all the processes. We had an initial meeting a month ago. We were supposed to have one Tuesday. I was out. But I think Krista is going to be producing much of the documents we need going forward, so we'll sit down and figure that out, to figure out all the different processes you're trying to track in human resources. And then once we have a better handle on what those processes are, perhaps we can change some workflows that would eliminate the need for additional software. So we're currently looking at all that.
You want to give us a few examples of those processes he's talking about?
So when we have a new hire start, we went through what that process looks like, and currently we are inputting that employee data into 6 different systems. So that's kind of a brief overview of that. Same thing if we have an employee terminate, 6 different systems. If it's something even as simple as a phone number change or an address change, that has to then again get put into that many different systems. So at this point, just looking at a way to streamline that process to make it a little bit easier on everyone involved.
My understanding from our initial conversation about this some 4 months ago is that there was no more way to update the current system, that the people who sold it to us either aren't in business or aren't able to do anything for us. You're making it sound like that's a possibility now, and it's not.
No. When I speak to our existing system, I'm talking about the ACS through Avenue. The long-standing financial system we have might have things within it that will solve some of these problems.
Okay, not the company that sold us the stuff.
PeopleTrack is dead, and its replacement Canopy does not deliver even what PeopleTrack did, and for more money. So we're finding a new way forward.
Okay, that helps to clarify. I thought we were back to the old system, but we're
No,
not.
sir.
We're doing more in, okay. And so this will be on our agenda next month to hear how successful you guys are, right?
Sure.
Okay.
Do you have like a ballpark figure of costs?
Well, if Krista were to find a solution that solved all our HRIS and payroll issues, I think NeoGov and OpenGov combined, I think we could be spending around $120,000 a year. I don't see that as a viable alternative for us. Currently, the current financial system, if we were to make modifications to that, I don't think we'd be talking about anywhere near that
Okay.
amount of money. So it's really up in the air at this point.
Yeah, at this point, we don't have a system that we're sold on yet, so to speak.
Okay.
So, still.
But like
investigating.
100 and some thousand is like the max.
Oh, no, you can go way bigger.
Oh, we can go way better than that? Okay.
Software companies find ways to peel money out of your backside so
Okay.
fast. It's,
All right, what are we doing now? I mean, do we have something in place?
So we still have People Track, which
Yeah.
is our current HRIS. It's just no longer supported. So if it goes down at any point, which we're hoping it doesn't, we have no one to support us in that, in getting it back up and running. But we are working with IT on getting all of our data pulled out of there into a spreadsheet, so at least we have all that data encompassed still, and we don't end up losing it.
Great.
Holy cow.
Okay, thank you for
Alrighty.
that encouraging update. Speaking of the end of things, we have a bereavement leave policy to look at.
Yes, so
This is actually, I thought this was fairly generous, and
Yes, so this was recently brought to my attention within the last month, that our policy does not reflect what our handbook states for our bereavement leave policy.
so this was written before the handbook.
Yes,
Hmm.
that is correct. So handbook was 2013, bereavement leave policy was February of 2010. So the piece that did not match up was all eligible employees may receive up to 1 day leave with full pay to be deducted from the employee's sick leave compensation account. And that was for brother-in-law, sister-in-law, aunt, uncle, niece, or nephew, or when requested to be a pallbearer. So one place says they get it with full pay, and the other section says it's to be deducted from their sick leave account.
So
that-
this is the full pay one here,
Correct.
yeah.
So I did pass out prior to this meeting, just some revisions that our office had made. I did pull quite a few counties throughout the state to see what their current bereavement leave policy is in regards to the number of days that are given. I would say ours is definitely on the more generous side in regards to the first section, that being 5 days for the death of an employee's spouse or natural adopted or stepchild. Most counties were only giving 3 days for that. So it's up to this committee if you wanted to keep that at 5 days or if you wanted to drop that down to 3. Again, I've just got some additional revisions you can see there and read through. Some is just cleanup language as well.
Mm-hmm.
Nikki, do you have anything to add on that one? I know you kind of helped us throughout that one. Okay.
So why is it you took out the brother-in-law and sister-in-law for the 1 day?
So that we had just encompassed up above in the 3 day, just so it was all consistent.
Oh, okay,
to
that went
include
up there.
in-laws.
All
Yep.
right.
So that is a little bit more generous. Again, they would be getting 3 instead of 1. So if you guys are not wanting that, we can definitely move it back down.
Are you going to
Personally, I
be,
think sometimes they gotta travel for a funeral, so 3 days is really not out of line. Maybe you get a funeral in California you gotta go to. I think we should leave it 3 days.
5 days, you mean, John?
Well, no, this is like the 3-day,
No,
John, do you want me to read it to you? Since you probably don't have it in
Yeah,
front of
go
you?
ahead.
Okay, so right now it states all eligible regular full-time and part-time employees may receive up to 5 days leave with full pay for the death of an employee's spouse or natural adopted or stepchild. And then the next category would be all eligible employees may receive up to 3 days leave with full pay for the death of the employee's parent, sister, brother, grandparent, grandchild, and then including step or in-law relations of the same degree. And then the next section is all eligible employees may receive up to 1 day leave with full pay for the death of the employee's aunt, uncle, niece, or nephew, or when requested to be a pallbearer, or when requested to be a participant in a military funeral. Pay for any combination of those listed in this category is limited to 3 days max per calendar year.
I don't know. I don't think.
What, John? John? Hello?
Am I
This is-
muted?
Well, no, you're on the phone, and I just wasn't, you didn't complete the sentence. You were thinking that 3 days wasn't enough?
Yeah, I like that. I like the way you just read the policy now. That don't sound bad.
Okay, all right,
I don't know. That's up to you guys.
all right.
I'd make a motion to approve this bereavement leave as written and with the changes made to reflect what's in the handbook.
I second that.
All right, motion and a second to clean up the language, make the changes, and to make it consistent with the handbook, which is also in the change here. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, was that a aye for being in favor, John?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's delayed.
Delay, the new normal, here we go. We'll make those changes.
Yep, absolutely.
That'll be in the policy. And I want to thank you, I think, for emailing us pages and pages and pages and pages of policies.
No
So we-
problem.
we
Like, they're
can't say
like
we-
3,000 pages.
I know, I'm sorry.
We
That's all
can't say
right.
we don't know what they are.
Don't download it, or I mean, don't try to print it.
Yeah,
it's
oh,
200
yeah.
plus
Yeah,
pages.
yeah.
Okay, department update. Are we ever going to meet this person?
Yes, absolutely. So I do have a new staff member I'd like to introduce you all to. So Nikki Dunn is our new HR generalist.
Hello, Nikki.
I don't know, Nikki, if you want to give a little background about yourself? Sure can.
Yes. Oh, the first thing you need to know is that you have to push the button on the face of the microphone and then put the microphone to you, and there'll be a little red line that shows up, just like that.
All right, hello, Nikki Dunn. I come here from Riverland Energy, where I was there for many years as the HR generalist there. Before that, I've worked in HR for quite a few years, but I'm from the area. I actually live in Whitehall, so I'm really happy to be local, right in town.
Walk to work.
I can. Saves in parking, right?
Well, I'm thinking in terms of having somebody in the office during snowstorms.
All right, so yes, we are very excited to have Nikki joining us. She started with us last Wednesday, so jumping right in. Next, we'll go over here to our turnover report. So that had been previously distributed to everyone. So thus far, we have filled 21 full-time positions this year, 5 part-time fill-in, and there's an update to the LTE. We are now up to 9 LTE positions that have been filled.
Yay. Okay. And then the compensation study.
Sure. So our next step in the compensation study is going to be meeting with department heads, and those are scheduled for July 20th and 21st. So for any department heads out there that have not yet contacted myself to schedule, please be sure to do so, and we'll get you on the schedule to meet with myself and Patrick Glynn, our compensation consultant. And then from there, we'll move forward to the next step in the process, which will hopefully be seeing what those results are.
And we'll be wrapping up before budget time?
That is our hope.
Okay. Any other questions about the compensation study? And we only have a few more months to say we can't do that because we're in the middle of a compensation study. Events.
Sure. So last Thursday and Friday, Nikki and myself went down to Madison. We went down to our Wisconsin Public Employee Labor Relation Association conference. Heard a lot of good speakers down there. Lots of good networking experiences with other HR directors and generalists throughout the state. So that was a good conference to attend. We're also kind of gearing up here for our negotiations, which
I was
will-
just gonna ask that, when do they start, like next month, right?
We don't have a date yet.
Okay.
But Mike Backus has reached out and is wanting to get something on the
Okay,
calendar,
good.
so I'm
Yeah,
working
the
with
sooner the better, because we took a long time
last time.
3
Yes.
years ago, so.
Yep, so we'll be working on that, and we'll try and work with you all for some dates to get that process rolling. We'll also be gearing up for open enrollment here coming July, August, so that's right around the corner, so lots of fun things happening in the HR world.
And you have plenty of money to do all this, right?
Well, I hope so. For budget update, we more than likely will be over in our recruitment budget. We have about $3,000 left of our $28,000 budget. Main reason for that was hiring the outside staffing agency for the HR director recruitment. That took up a large chunk, so more than likely we'll be having to ask for more money in that budget line item. And property and liability was slightly over for 2021 as well, so I'll come back with final numbers for you all for that.
Do we have an idea of how things look in the insurance world coming up?
I've not heard anything yet.
Okay. Where that line item's going to be on the budget next year.
Yes.
We're skipping number 10, I guess, so the next meeting date would be, we've changed this one because of the conference, so,
10 is moved to July 2021.
Our next meeting date will be July 15th. That would be the third Thursday.
okay.
July
15th.
15th.
15th?
Yep. What time would work for everyone?
Ron is our time guru here. Is 10 o'clock working for you?
10 or 9, whatever.
Okay, we were at 10 o'clock because of the conflict with extension, which we probably will not have. So we could make it a 9 o'clock meeting?
Sure, 9 is good.
Okay, we'll go for 9 o'clock, July 15th.
9 o'clock is audit.
Oh, that's right, we can't do it at 9. That's why we have 10,
On Tuesdays?
Oh,
because it's audit.
On Tuesday?
This is
Ah.
Thursday.
Wait,
The 5th? Oh, 15th.
that could be, this is the third Thursday, that could be the fourth Thursday is audit probably, I don't know.
audits
Oh,
are,
we usually meet our meetings are usually the third Thursday. Okay, so this
Yeah.
won't be a problem with audit. We just had
just
to
that
change it this
Stacy's
month.
checking the
I probably won't be
the
here. That
calendar.
Why?
Fair starts.
Really?
Kids have to be in.
Okay, we're good, John.
It's the 8th and the 22nd.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to conflict with audit.
If we change the time?
Okay.
Or you just need to be with your kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
You're bringing your kids to the next meeting?
No,
is
that's when Fair starts on the
Their
15th.
entries are due at 9 AM that morning, and they don't think I'll be able to bring that. They can't drive themselves.
Really?
They probably
could,
but.
It'll be frowned upon.
We could drive the tractor down.
All right, so we've got this corner is, are we still good with 9? Are we just, okay, we'll stick with 9. Next item on the agenda is a closed session. Do we have things to talk about in closed session?
We do.
All right. I would entertain a motion to go into closed session.
My wife's with me, so I probably better call out in this closed session.
Oh, that's a good idea.
That's probably a good idea, John. Thanks for thinking of that.
Kristen,
Okay,
just
thanks.
email me the changes.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, I'd entertain a motion to go into closed
A
session.
participant has left the meeting.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we go into closed session per Wisconsin statute 19.85, paren 1, paren C, to update the committee and consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data regarding county personnel issues.
Is there a second?
I'll go ahead.
Okay. We'll do a roll call vote. Johnson?
Johnson, yes.
Nutter?
Yes.
Nelson?
Nelson, yes.
Brandt, yes. John has left the meeting because he was not able to maintain confidentiality. We have 2 county board members who apparently wish to stay. That's fine. Is